Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Dota 2 commentary. This is the Curse Dota 2 Invitational, Curse's venture into the Dota 2 scene. And shoutouts to them because they're getting back into the scene. $10,000 tournament for a relatively short amount of time. It's really greatly appreciated that we have a nice prize pool for such a short tournament. Hopefully that'll set some standards in the future. But I'm B-Ballin, and with me is Shred Kid. Welcome back, dude.
Yeah, it's been a while, but I'm glad to cast this tournament because like you said, it's exactly the kind of tournament that I think the scene needs. It's short, takes place over not that many games, a lot of good teams in it, a lot of prize pool. So I'm excited to cast it.
Yep, so this is game two, and we're going to unpause in three, two, one, unpause. As I'm getting messaged by Lewis. Fuck that guy. Anyways, this is going to be QPAD versus Navi. This is game two, and game one, well, spoiler, if there's ever a way to get more utterly dominated, then I don't know if QPAD could have found another way because they got dominated. I don't think they got a kill. They forfeited in 12 minutes. So see if they can recover. And Navi, it's an interesting clash of styles because the new Navi likes to play super aggressively. Although the last couple of games I've casted them recently, they've been picking heroes like Phantom Lancer and heroes like that. They're definitely a lot less intimidating on the online format, but I feel like this is a clash of two aggressive teams, or teams that want to be aggressive, although Navi is clearly more versatile.
Yeah, I think the best thing about Navi, what Navi has going for them that I don't think really any other Western teams do, is that they're really flexible. Like, they will sit back and farm for 40 minutes if they feel like doing it, or they'll try to GG you in 15 minutes with the racks with like their hardest carry being CK. You never really know what they're going to do just from the draft until it already happens, and you're like, oh, well, I guess we got to adapt to that now. And other teams that are really good, like say Liquid or Alliance or Fnatic EU, only really have like one or two main styles that they do. So I feel like Navi's unpredictability is, just in tournaments like this, it's a pretty big thing. But everybody's thinking about the International 3, and nobody knows what Navi's going to do in it. So keep that in mind.
Yep, as we're going to get right through the picks and bans, as Navi was already invited, being the first winner of the International and becoming the second runner-up last year. QPAD are invited to the qualifiers. A bit of controversy. Well, not really controversy, but a couple of questions about QPAD's viability. They did win the SK Gaming Cup, but other than that, they have not been looking too impressive, although they have finally moved into a team house, so they've been training non-stop from what I understand. QPAD Sing is actually picking, but I don't think that makes a difference. Again, they're training in a team house, so I imagine they're just huddled over one computer trying to make the decisions, as they're going to pick up the Magnus and Navi going to pick up the Keeper of the Light. Interesting opening, as Keeper of the Light very strong, although he's been fading out a little bit more in favor of more explosive supports.
That's true, but it is still probably
It's still the
up
dumbest
there.
hero in the game, in my opinion,
Yeah.
because I hate that hero. But, I'm low level.
It's up there with all the really versatile supports. Like, say, Rubik is sort of versatile, but like Shadow Demon and Keeper are the most versatile support heroes because you can do anything with them. You can aggressive tri-lane, you can defensive tri-lane and just defend your carry. You can defensive tri-lane versus one hero and just have them farm the jungle. So Navi hasn't given anything away yet, except for the fact that they're going to be able to defend towers really well with Keeper of the Light and Nature's Prophet split push. It's going to be hard to do. And Alchemist, yeah. So it's going to be really hard to deal with because Alch is going to have the acid spray and the towers. They're going to be really hard to push into. And with Nature's Prophet making space for Alchemists, I think he might get really out of control really fast.
And I think Kuroki is the blank name, and I think Sakshka is standing in for Vost. Apparently, Vost couldn't make it for this game. Rest assured, he's still on Navi. I think he just was probably out of commission for this particular day. But yeah, QPAD picking an interesting draft. They picked up two of the strongest heroes in the pool in the form of Magnus as well as Nyx. Support Nyx, I'm not really too sure if it's favored by QPAD since they like to roam very heavily early on. Nyx, I feel like as support can definitely do that, but he wants to get some levels. But Clockwork, I think, is overall a pretty solid choice against Alchemist just because Alchemist is melee, and if you keep him out of the commission for a while, that could be an issue. Although Alchemist, I mean, he has enough HP that he can go through the Clockwork because the Battery Assault mini stuns won't really keep up with the base attack time reduction that Chemical Rage gives you. So even though Clockwork is pretty good against melee carries, he might not be as strong against Alchemist compared to other carries, as we're just flying through the picks and bans at this pace. QPAD banning out a lot of mid-solos, and Neon Navi banning out a Slark.
I'm so happy. That's my favorite hero that isn't ultra high tier. And I've been saying that hero's legit for a while, but I'm not going to talk about that now. I was just going to say, really quick, Clockwork, I think, is actually pretty legit against Alchemist because you can just get a Force Staff and leave the cogs and keep him in it. Bulba does that a lot if you watch him play Clockwork. But yeah, I don't think the Clock has to be too scared of the Alchemist. But the issue is, right now, QPAD has 3 melee heroes and they're against the Keeper of the Light. Like, that's gonna suck.
Well, they do have a clockwork to hook in, but as long as Puppy has that spirit form online, then he can pretty much channel without an interruption unless he somehow gets hooked if the flare scouts him out. As Shadow Shaman is going to be trusted by QPAD, and Shadow Shaman will likely play as support. Keep in mind, Sing Sing was one of the first pioneers of Shadow Shaman last year with Mouse around early January, early February, but this has got to be a support Shadow Shaman. I can't imagine that Sing Sing won't be playing the Magnus unless they give him a different role. And I think QPAD, I think they've been switching up the roles. I don't know if Waga switched from the hard carry to a different capacity, but I think since I've seen Sing Sing carry more often, and we're going to see Tuskar, aka Tusk, by Navi. What a pick.
Okay, real quick background on this hero. When he was released 2 years ago or so, he was really absurdly broken. Like, Snowball was just absurd and everything was too good. But he got toned down a lot. Right now, me and a lot of people I talked to said that he's not really useful. But I would think, just on paper, I was thinking about it, I think you play him like an off-lane one role, where you have him like a bounty hunter who can just roam around the map and just leave the lane if you can't get experience because he's good at ganking mid. Or you can play him as a support that like snowballs onto somebody mid. I don't know if it's going to be support or offlane. It's not clear yet, but it'll probably be support because Nature's Prophet, so...
Yeah, I mean, he's relatively item independent. His only scaling spell is the Walrus Sponge, which does have a 18 technical and its max level, as Skywrath Mage is going to be picked up by Dendy. He has been training this hero hardcore recently, and it is going to be Kuroki playing the Tuskar, so it is going to be support Tuskar. Some really awesome picks by Navi, as we're going to see Sing Sing pick up the Tinker. Select is going to be playing the Magnus, so... I wonder how QPAD are going to win this. I imagine it is going to be an offlane clock, but it's going to be Waga handling that. And yeah, we actually are going to see the supports being chosen by Jax and Mini respectively. So I'm going to go over the players and teams really quickly, as we're going to have Sing Sing playing the Tinker, Select is playing the Magnus, Mini is playing the Shadow Shaman, Waga is playing the Clockwork, and Jax is playing Nyx Mew on the side. Now we're going to have Puppy playing the Keeper of the Light, Kuroki is playing the Tusk, Dendy is playing the Skywrath Mage, Sakska, I think, is going to be playing the Alchemist, and Funnick is going to be playing the Nature's Prophet. So... one thing that I have an issue with QPAD's lineup is how are they going to kill Alchemist?
They have... QPanda... Okay, I didn't really talk about the draft that much this game.
It went by really fast.
Really heavily, extremely outdrafted. They can't end the game. Like, to end the game, you're going to have to push into Keeper Blast. You have to push into annoying Skywrath spam from like 20,000 units away, Acid Spray, and Furion's going to be pushing your other lane. So it's like, how do you push into that? And they don't have any physical DPS at all. So it's going to be really hard to bring down most of the people. And their team fight's really nasty, but all they need is like a BKB on the Alchemist and Skywrath Mage, and then Navi just wins.
And one thing I'm a bit worried about is even though QPAD has a lot of range, look at the range on Navi. I mean, Concussive Shot by Skywrath Mage is a ridiculous range, Arcane Bolt has a ridiculous range, the Silence, I do believe, by Skywrath Mage is one of the best spells in the game. And I just wanted to talk about these two heroes, Skywrath and Tusk, respectively. Skywrath is interesting because we've seen it in a couple of Pinoy Dota 1 games. He's definitely a very powerful mid-solo hero. Tusk was introduced to the Dota 1 Captain's Mode long after Skywrath Mage was, and by that time, all of the major Dota 1 teams had already switched to Dota 2, and I don't think the Philippines really like to pick Tusk, so I'm going to be interested to see how he's used. Again, Tusk as a support role, I don't think he needs necessarily too many items. He probably needs some mana sustainability, but other than that, I don't think he needs too much else. But yeah, maybe this is a Navi experimental on it. Maybe they're thinking, alright, we crushed these guys game 1, let's see if this will work in game 2.
You know what it might be? The Skywrath Mage has the one single target spell that deals like 9,000 damage or whatever, and if you stick that in the ice shards or whatever it's called, and with the Tuskar walling people off, maybe he can just kind of force him to stay there. Also, it's really good against the Clockwork because it just kind of blows him up, so I'm a little bit worried about that. Oh, and by the way, when Skywrath Mage was introduced, a bunch of people who I really respect their opinion on were saying he's the answer to Magnus, because Magnus just bottle crows, and apparently you can just prevent that with the Arcane Bolt, so...
Yeah, you can see level 1 70 mana cost can be spent indefinitely. He'll just be able to get the bottle up ASP, and Select, not really known as a mid lane player that usually goes to Sing Sing, but we actually see Sing Sing in the jungle, leaving the farm for Jax on the bottom lane, and I think I can understand where QPAD's coming from. They know that, like you said, it'll be extraordinarily difficult to break the Navi base, so I need to get some early game action. Nyx is definitely going to be very solid, and one of the weaknesses of Skywrath is that he's very low HP pool, very low armor. He can be quite easily ganked, and a Nyx with a high level mana burn can definitely go a long way in making that happen, but I'm really fearful for this Magnus. I feel like he's the linchpin in this strategy, and I'm not too sure how Select will handle this lane, because right now it seems like he's getting blown the heck up.
Yeah, and no flame to select. Like he's come a really long way, and he offlanes pretty decently, but I don't think he's on par to go against Dendy mid.
And actually, something I failed to mention is that Skywrath was actually picked up by Dendy in Game 1, so QPAD may they have some sort of experience now playing against Dendy Skywrath, but again, Magnus versus Skywrath, like you mentioned, going to be extraordinarily difficult.
Like, oh my god, that's just absurd. This is, I don't know, I have to start playing this hero to see what I think of him, but on paper, just he's got so much stuff working for him. Anyway, it looks like Phonic's going to TP into bot lane. Are you watching this?
Yeah, Jax is actually going to spot him out. Funnick is forced to tango out. A little bit of harassment. Nyx can't really kill Funnick, I don't think. Yeah, just going to be mana burn, and Funnick is going to be driven away. One of the good things about Navi's Lamp is that it does take a little bit of time for it to get going, so if QPAD can get the ganks off, that should be... hopefully that'll get them enough momentum to make this a game. What do you think about Tinker jungling at this point? Is it appropriate to give Nyx the farm? I think high level mana burn will be very, very useful in this game. But would you rather sacrifice a Tinker free farm on the bottom lane in exchange for Nyx getting solo experience?
If here's the thing, you can get up like a 9-minute BOT if you do it right. He's not doing it right. He's not even doing it anywhere close to right. He shouldn't be at these two camps. He should be at the medium and the hard camp, not the easy and the hard one. Because then you can like use it to stack the other camp, and trust me, you get more farm that way. It's kind of hard to explain, but the point is he's just kind of marching at the minute, and he's not stacking efficiently. And if he were, I'd say, yeah, fine, get a quick Blink Dagger up on Nyx and have him start just murdering Skywrath. But Sing Sing's BOT isn't going to be anywhere close to where it should be, so I think it's a loss just because of execution, not because of, like, on paper.
This has got to be a strategy they've executed, because you wouldn't really throw Tinker to the jungle unless they're confident into it. But I guess a couple mistakes here and there made it to the pressure. But meanwhile, Sakshka on the top lane has 1400 gold, put 2 points in the Grievous Greed, so he's going for the heavy farm build, recognizing that, okay, I mean, if you're not going to stop me from farming, might as well just farm to my heart's content. As he's banking up a lot of gold. Midas isn't usually a high priority for Alchemist because he has the Grievous Greed, but Alchemist, if he manages to get level 16 very, very quickly with the experience boost of Midas, I mean, again, how can you kill him? I don't honestly see a way.
I see no reason to not go for as greedy a build as you could possibly go for on Navi, because they can't take your towers and they can't end the game. And it's not like they have late game, so just do whatever you want. Like, get a Midas on him, get a Midas on Furion, and just farm all day.
Yeah, Midas on support Tuskar.
It's legit.
As actually we're going to see a wraparound. Kuroki is retreating behind the middle tower, and the tower is going to spot him out, but we're going to see the Arcane Bolt into a snowball. The silence is on select. He can't even skewer away, and first blood is picked up by Dendy as Miel, Kuroki, and Funnick are on the assault trying to secure the kill on Sing Sing. I think Sing Sing should be able to escape Funnick. It does not look like, yeah, he has no points to Sprout and Kuroki, not enough mana. So first blood being picked up on select. I mean, it's interesting because the wards placed by QPAD are really, they're not really defensive for the Magnus in the middle lane. I feel like Magnus has got to be the key to this strategy.
The ward at bot rune is like the worst ward they possibly could have placed. That needs to be defending their mid lane, not because nobody's in bot rune or in bot lane for Navi. They don't even need anything there. It needs to be on the other half of the map. But oh well, I mean, what are you gonna do about it? And I think the real issue with that mid gank is now that they took control of the mid lane, it's really easy to get to the Tinker. Wow, it's hard to talk because I haven't cast it in so long. But yeah, it's easy to get to the Tinker, so they can just kind of kill him and stop him from farming, and that's going to set him back even farther. They can pressure him, especially just by snowballing on him, and it's going to be an issue.
Actually, we're going to see Sakshka go for the Midas. He's going to have it in 10 gold, so a 5-minute Midas, very nicely done by the Alchemist with the level 3 Grievous Greed. He's going to hit that level 6 very soon. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, Nyx Assassin, level 6. We'll see if he starts ganking. No travels or no teleport scroll just yet. Fish the Arcane Boots, and Nyx has got to make something happen. He's got to create some room on the map. Otherwise, this game could go very downhill very quickly for QPAD. Meanwhile, Funnick not really getting the most farm, but Nature's Prophet always finds a way to get himself out of bad situations, and there's really not too much pressure going on for the Nature's Prophet. So right now, I mean, Jax is going to make a lot of things happen with this Nyx, because mid lane, it's not going to get prettier with this deficit.
No, not at all. Like, the thing is, Nyx is so disgustingly good against Skywrath Mage. You just get on top of that hero and you murder him. He's got no armor, so Vendetta hurts so much. Mana Burn just destroys him, and like the hero's a piece of paper. You just kind of tear through it. So let's see if he can actually get a kill, but he is going to stay farming, so... And they are going to rotate Singbot. I think they realize that their jungle isn't safe anymore.
Yep, Sing Sing probably getting the farm, also saying Jirax 006, go do something else. And I think Jirax, yeah, he's probably just going to pick up enough gold to get a teleport scroll, and he's probably going to maneuver himself into position to start a gank going. He picks up the PP scroll, and he's going to teleport to the middle lane, looking to secure a kill as Select is able to skewer away. That does not mean, or that means he can't really venture into range as Jax is going to approach the middle lane. And I think Navi are wise to this fact. They probably saw Jax pick up a teleport scroll. He dove past the creeps, and Jax is actually going to rotate in. Kuroki might be in for trouble. He actually used the Impale before the Vendetta, and that is going to allow Kuroki to escape, and Jax, it might cost him his life as we're going to see a rotation by Puppey. The, Illuminate does whiff as the Ice Shard is going to do a lot of damage, and Jax is going to be stuck in place. Here comes Snowball, and Funk is going to rotate, and as well, another Impale. Kuroki going to get stunned in place. Can Jax retreat? He will be able to retreat, but that is just a bit unfortunate for Jax. Didn't get the Vendetta hit off. I think if he did, Kuroki would have been okay because he would just been able to run back to base, but that wouldn't have cost Jax HP, and that means he's going to have to go all the way back to base.
Do we have any way of knowing Jarax's ping while we're watching this game as a replay?
I've got to imagine that it's good. They're in a team house, and they're playing against a CIS team in Sweden.
Okay, because that was just absurd that happened. I don't know. Maybe misclick or something. I don't know. But yeah, I was gonna say, did you see how Tuskar blocked him off like completely with the ice wall?
Yeah, that ice wall is so good. It's fissure, but you can.
I call it ranged fissure. It's what it is. But yeah, we'll see if there can be some good hero block shenanigans. Because if you're good and you have a teammate with you, you can split and block the person in the ice wall.
And that was something else. I already alluded to that. But yeah, the range on the Skywrath Mage spells and the Ice Shards and the Illuminate and the Nature's Prophet is just
top
immense.
lane. Oh, but he runs through a sentry ward.
I don't think the ward saw him. I don't think he gave enough vision.
It's all. I think.
I don't think
I
so.
could be wrong.
Didn't give enough vision.
Okay.
Anyway, the Vendetta is timing out, so he might not make something happen. Sakshka is in Chemical Rage form, so he does have a lot of HP. So this is a little bit of more wasted time for Jax. And meanwhile, Navi surely expects something's going on. The Ice Shard's just barely whiffing, but here comes the Mana Flare in conjunction with the Arcane Bolt. Select might be able to escape. I'm just going to watch his HP as there's going to be engagement. Oh man, 150 HP, not enough, as he is going to die to that very, very slow-moving projectile. And that is just really bad for Select. I mean, I don't think this is really Select's fault. This is just a terrible matchup, and he has no protection in the middle lane.
Yeah, and I don't know if I actually was talking about this with you during the cast, but nobody knows like that hero's damage thresholds and stuff yet, except for the people who are spamming him. So, at like this point in time, the Skywrath pickers have a massive advantage over other people. And I think it's really interesting that Denny got mana boots even when he had a Coddle on his team. I guess he thinks that they're like absolutely necessary.
Meanwhile, Mini going to get trapped in place by the Ice Shards. The tower was killed off by Sing Sing, so that is going to fuel his Boots of Trial by quite a bit. We'll have it in about 150 gold, so at a relatively good pace, but Dendy's going to rotate in. The QPAD wards did spot out the movement, so QPAD should be okay. But yeah, Skywrath Mage's spells are all ridiculously expensive. His ultimate level 3 is 800 mana, so, I mean, you have Keeper, but
I guess just for the mana pool even.
I mean, his ultimate just costs so much mana by itself, and has a relatively short cooldown, so you can spam it as well. And oh no, Select gonna be spotted out. He's gonna get stunned. He's gonna get bolted. Here comes the Ice Shards, a Mana Flare, wreaking havoc on that poor Magnus. And man, this is just. I mean, QPAD saw the rotation. Maybe they were suspecting a bit gank bottom, but I guess the communication wasn't there. As Jax gonna roam in. That is a Navi ward, so they are fully aware that Jax is right there in the middle lane. As Illuminate, the Ice Shards, the range once again, putting in work. As man, this lineup by Navi, just it's like a sniper, but actually good.
This is absurd. The ice wall is stopping people from running away from the Mana Flare. Oh my god, it's gonna happen to Mini too. He's probably gonna go down. He's gonna go down first, actually.
Kuroki may be feeling a bit overconfident. I guess he didn't get his snowball off. Maybe he ran out of mana and he didn't use his stick charges. So that is going to give QPAD one kill at the very least, and that is going to preserve their life. But meanwhile, all the while, Alchemist is just saying, "What's up, guys? I'll be doing this all day until you do something."
Yeah, like if I was him, I would go for like another farming item. Why even go for Lothars? Just get the lightning hands thing. So you farm faster, and then you can go into AC Basher, and you can get that at like 22 minutes.
So yeah, Mini is forced to go back to base. Sing Sing's picked up the Boots of Travel, but I mean, Sing Sing still has to pick up his bottle, he still has to get his Soul Ring, and then he has to get a Dagger most likely if he wants to get safe farm. It'll be a while before he gets a Hex, as we're going to see an engagement go to the top lane. Jax is Vendetta, still has a decent amount of time, looking to see, oh, he doesn't get the Vendetta hit off again! This might cost QPAD a kill. Mini, oh, he's just not even bothering. Oh my god, you don't usually like to call out players. I always give players the benefit of the doubt, but come on, man, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, you guys know that B-Ballin doesn't call people out. I normally call people out for him. Yeah, so if he's calling someone out, I don't even have to say anything.
And Jax usually plays pretty well for the most part. I think Mini's the best player in QPAD, but Jax usually plays pretty well. Maybe he just doesn't have Nyx experience. I think he came from Han for the most part. I don't know if it's different in Han. I mean, there's only so many excuses I can make.
I said that JRX was a pretty decent player on a online Dota forum a couple days ago, and people laughed at me. They're like, have you seen his Nyx game? He couldn't even use Vendetta. So I think someone said in that it worked like that in Han, so maybe he just hasn't got Dota experience on this hero yet? I don't know.
Well, he was in Rat in the Dark before he was picked up, and I think he played with Sing Sing and Han, so could be a lot of experience, but that's not really an excuse. Nyx is not really that difficult to execute. I mean, Spike Carapace is a little tricky, and Alchemist is just like, well, that was uneventful, I'm just going back to farming. And QPAD's just like, well, fuck, what do we do now? I select relentlessly pushed away, not even close towards Arcane Boots. This is pretty bad. If I were QPAD, I'd just give Select a lane, because you gotta have the Magnus, like, do stuff in the mid-game.
This is just upsetting, though. Because of the whole Ice Path thing, no one can push up by themselves ever, because if they get Ice Path, they're going to get Mana Flared and just die within the span of 2 seconds. And I think QPAD are going to try to go top and make something happen, but I don't think they even can.
Yep, Jack's gonna spot out Puppey. He is gonna get the Vendetta hit off. This should cost Puppey his life. The Flare will pick up the kill. So a good gank. We'll see if they can make anything else happen from this. This is gonna cause a rotation by all of QPAD's players. Tinker teleported to the top lane. We'll see if they can work down the tower. As Select forced to just handle himself in the middle lane by himself, saying, help me guys, you're my only hope. But QPAD just gonna go for the tower. Waga has managed to handle himself quite nicely on the top lane for a clock, but really, I mean, Navi haven't been putting on any pressure. But it is 2-3. The pace of the game definitely not in favor of QPAD, but what do you think they should do to get themselves back in it?
I don't know, because they can't 5-man towers right now because of Furion, and they don't really have any great pushing power anyway, aside from the last awards. They can't solo farm because they'll get picked off. When I mentioned the weakness of their drafts at the beginning of the game, I don't see what they can do to put themselves back in the game, and I'm not going to count them out. Like, anything can happen if they get an RP, but they need to make something happen. I don't know what it is. I don't have enough experience to tell you what they have to do right now.
Yeah, and when it comes down to late game, I always say bet on the team with the Magnus, but Select has just been kept down so hard that it'll be a long while before he picks up the Dagger and Shockwave off the mark. Meanwhile, Sakshka has not been killed just yet, has 2.6k gold in the bank. We'll see what he decides to go for, as he is almost level 11, and at that point, he's pretty much ungankable unless his ultimate is off, or down. So, I don't know, Alchemist is just going to become a bigger and bigger issue, and Alchemist is quite scary in the late game, up against this lineup, which is quite squishy.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to try to go on him, though.
Yep, we are going to see a rotation in. Hex comes from Mini, going to get the ward surround. I don't know if it was a trap, but the hook is going to stun Alchemist in place. Waga going to take a lot of damage. Kuroki is on the pursuit, will be able to go in the Clockwork Walrus Punch right in the dome, right to the kisser. And looks like the clock was knocked the heck out. Select comes in with Skewer. They pick off Funnick on the assault. Xiaoshan actually buys back in Dendi. Probably gonna have to get the heck out of here. Select looking to maneuver himself into position for an RP. Silence goes down onto Select. Here comes Kuroki. Not enough mana. Gets one more Ice Shards. Oh man, Select the amplification on that Silence. Such a good spell. Silences and magical amplification. What an awesome spell, as Navi 2 for 2, but forced to buy back from the Shadow Shaman. I'm not too sure why Shadow Shaman actually bought back. He already dropped the ward, so I think that was just a little bit of desperation right there. But
well, they can't afford to lose any fights because of their lineup. They don't have late game. They can't ever have setbacks. So I think it was a good buyback. Just because with him dead, and them already having committed to that tower, they need to make something happen. So I think it was okay. But I wanted to say Skywrath Mage in that fight. Holy crap, with the haste rune, he could just run around and cast whatever spells he wanted. He had the damage output of a Shadow Fiend in that fight. Except he also gave slows and silences and stuff, so
Yeah, Skywrath is always an interesting hero to me. He's like OD, he wins the lane very hard. He falls out in the later stages of the game because of BKB, but he still does a lot of damage. His nuke is definitely
Mid
a
lane.
lot more reliable, as they're going to see rotation in. Snowball by Kuroki going in for Mini, but Select is there. Kuroki just going to get hexed up. Kuroki trying to be super aggressive. He has actually no backup, and Kuroki going to just walrus punch Mini for his trouble. It's going to cost him his life. Not too sure what Kuroki's thinking, but Dendi is more than happy to clean up the kill onto Jerax, who was spied out by the Sentry Ward. Meanwhile, here comes Alchemist with the armlet already finished, going in on Select, gets a stun as the Arcane Bolts just fly in, tearing Select down to half HP, and the Acid Spray is just continuing to go to work. But yeah, Skywrath it's a pretty cool hero. He's like OD, but better. He is more reliable, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think he would be easier to gank mid, but I don't even know. Like I said, I don't like to talk about stuff that I don't know that much about, and I don't really know. Like, I haven't got a lot of first-hand experience playing him, so I don't really know what his weaknesses are. I've just been stomped in pubs by him, and I'm like, this hero's broken, take him out of the game. But Dendi is going to get gone on mid lane.
Oh, just going to burst down Select a little bit more. Here comes the Hex, and the War Trap is going to start on Dendi. Nice War Trap by Mini, and he's going to actually pick up a Mega Kill streak, so that's going to go a long way. Will be able to probably pick himself up some Arcane Boots relatively soon. Well, still quite a while away, as the Arshard is going to fly in. March of Machine's going to cover the push, and I don't know if QPAD actually have enough mojo to muster down this tower. Yeah, Puppy is there for the assault, and Tigger actually picks up a kill on the Keeper Light with some rockets. So Na'Vi playing a little bit, you know, loose, and they're going to suffer a couple kills for that.
Yeah, but what do these kills accomplish? To what end are QPAD
top lane.
making these ganks happen?
Jerax, let's go. Vendetta hit.
Let's see if he clicks before stun this time.
Yeah, 1 for 3. Got it on Puppy. As the Vendetta's about to time out. Yeah, it timed out at just the wrong instant, but I guess he probably should have been a bit faster. They're still going to go in on for the Alchemist. Armlet is going to be popped, and Alchemist is going to just survive. That Vendetta not being hit is going to cost them an RP. They are going to pick up the Alchemist. Meanwhile, Dendi is on the assault, trying to kill off Waga. Waga will end up perishing, as meanwhile the rotation is going to fly in, as Kuroki is there on the pursuit. Here comes Skiplet with the rotation. Funnick just gonna teleport out of there, gets recalled by QPAD. Here comes a snowball flying in for Select Walrus Punch just to put icing on top of the cake. And 2 for 1, cost them an RP. QPAD looking outclassed at the moment.
And they still don't have any kills. Mini's going to go down. I think he already lost his Mega Kill streak, so it's not that big a deal. But they have a pushing lineup, and they're losing mid-tower before they get an obvious mid-tower. Like, that's an issue.
It's not going to get prettier. I mean, Nature's Prophet at this point in the game, not really doing that much. Alchemist has not really been participating too often. He's died twice. I mean, he's still putting in a lot of work for GPM. 485 GPM, dying twice is still pretty good because creeps, of course. Not many creeps in lanes at this point. So, still almost high in GPM. Definitely very respectable. And so far, we haven't talked about Sing Sing. Sing Sing, will he go for the... Yeah, I think he'll probably have to go for the dagger in this game. What do you think?
I don't see a reason for him to get Force Staff instead of Dagger, so... Yeah, I mean, you just gotta get one. I can't see him just straight rushing a Hex, so... Yeah, he's just gonna clear out the jungle, but if he was gonna get a Dagger, I think he would have done it by now, so maybe it'll be Force Staff? Force Staff kind of makes sense against Tuskar, though, so... Nope, there's a Blink Dagger.
So at least this will give him a safer way to split push. I mean, Nature's Prophet, gonna get picked off as Waga hooks in from miles away. I guess he spied out Funnick Farm the Ancients. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, Magnus gonna die yet again to Dendi. Not too sure how that happened. Atos finished up on the Skywrath. And
that's such a sick item. I'd never even thought of that before, you know? But it seems obvious now in retrospect. You Atos someone, you hit them with the Mystic Flare, and then they're dead. It's that easy.
Yeah, I mean... Not gonna lie, SK, I mean, this is one of the more common sense heroes get Atos on with OD and Silencer, right? He needs HP. God,
yeah, I
you're
guess.
such a
I mean, like I said,
Why am I casting
never...
with you? You're such a
I played this hero once, literally once, in Dota 1, like, 2 years ago. So, I completely forgot he existed until all the Chinese people, like 2009, were like, yo, this hero's mad legit. But it appears that he is. I mean, they didn't roam on him. They kind of let him do what he want, and now they're getting punished for it as Tinker goes down.
High shards. Ward spotting out the camps. Kuroki just going to have an Ancient for his troubles as well. 12-9 in favor of Na'Vi. As, again, this range, like, this is just so scary because not only is it range, it's also a lot of lockdown. You can't really escape from this compared to other range spells like, I don't know, Zeus or Clock or anything like that. I mean, Rockets, but, like, this range locks you in place.
Yeah. It's the reason why I hated Tuskar so much when he first came out was because he could snowball on you from so far away, and there's nothing you can do about it. And he's been fixed. Like, it's not that absurd anymore. But he's still got a huge initiation range. Like, this is absurd.
And if you combine that with the ridiculous cast range, I think it's 1400 or 1200 for the Arcane Bolt. Illuminate, Concussive Shot also has ridiculous range. It's kind of ridiculous as Jax gonna get the Spike Carapace off on Dendi. Waga is gonna hook in. Vendetta will manage to snag Dendi as Mystic Flare putting in a lot of work, but Jax will be able to escape. Dendi overextending himself just a little bit, trying to initiate with Kuroki. As Navi once again gonna lose their lives as Jax gonna get Ice Sharded. Will they initiate Kuroki? Stun in place for what seems like an eternity. Nyx just so good at keeping people locked down, and this might allow QPAD to actually get the middle tower before Navi gets theirs.
Yeah, that was two pretty good plays by JRX. Just Spike Carapacing somebody, and then they're stunned and out of position and dead. And now, what is Puppy doing? You know better than that, Puppy.
He's like, sup guys, let's make this interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, what other explanation would you have? I guess he just forgot that there was 5 people mid. Oh my god.
Happens to the best of us. And
I mean, everybody's
the best of
human
us.
except for IG, who are like Terminator robots. So, I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, shit,
BKB
even
up and
LGD, like, Sylar punches people in the face, apparently.
I've heard that was an exaggeration, but I don't know. Oh my god, that's not even fair.
Dude, like, Mystic Flare is just 900 damage in AoE if it's not split up. Like, 900 damage with a really short cooldown. I mean, that's a mana cost, but still.
It's 900 damage.
And I mean, like, QPAD, it's not like they're gonna pick a BKB. BKB is usually the counter to heroes like these, but who would get a BKB? Magnus and Shadow Shaman. As Funnick gonna get impaled, gonna get killed by Sing Sing, saying fuck Vendetta. As, yeah, Jax saw the Vendetta timer, but QPAD Sing was just like, let's get this kill ASAP. And, QPAD did manage to take a tower. They killed the Nature's Prophet. Nature's Prophet really not doing too much. So QPAD are still very much in this game. And Magnus somehow managed to find a dagger despite being harassed relentlessly. 1, 6, and 3. So QPAD still in this game, but I mean, they can only go so late.
Navi put QPAD in this game. Oh, Clockwork's gonna hook. Onto Dendi. Dendi could be in trouble. Picks up a regen and drops Mystic Flare. Waga's gonna evaporate. No, he's actually gonna live, and Dendi will go down. That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, Clock was at full HP. He got silenced. Hey, there goes 1k HP.
Yeah, and he used mech. So, wow. But, yeah, like I was saying, Navi put QPAD back in this game just by letting themselves get picked off. They were playing a little bit sloppy. They shouldn't have been getting Spike Carapace and stuff, but there's going to be some action bottom lane, it looks like.
Yep, Funnick gonna be revived. He's gonna go in on Mini. Here comes Snowball. Walrus Punch will be there to secure the kill as Nature's Prophet is more than happy to pick it up. He's finished his Shadow Blade, and he's gonna spot Jax. Jax pops the dust preemptively, and here comes Select on the pursuit with the Skewer. Nicely done. Nice counter gank. Nice preemptive dust as well. So they were able to catch out Funnick before he could even react. So QPAD once again coming out ahead. Well, 1-for-1, but they got the Furion for the Shadow Shaman. So QPAD starting to get themselves back in the game, but still, in this lineup, I mean, they've got it. This is the peak of their lineup. They have to make so much happen during this phase.
They need to take all these towers. They need to finish that Blade Mail on Clock. That's so important. Like, I cannot overstate how important that Blade Mail is for him this game. Mystic Flare, basically. JRX, I would love to see a Blink Dagger on him. And if he's not going to go for that, I think actually a Dagon would be pretty legit, just to try to blow up Dendi.
Well, if you look at Dendi, he's also floating around 14 and 50 HP. He's going for that BKB, so... Yeah, I mean...
yeah, you know what? I didn't even see that he was, so skip the Dagon then, just go for Dagger.
Yeah, I think Dagger, really, really useful. I mean, Select, if he's silenced, then he's just going to be blown up, as he has been so often in this game. As Meow Mini trying to do the most of it, saving up for his own daggers. So QPAD starting to work their way towards the items, but still, this is the peak of their lineup, like I mentioned previously, and like you mentioned, they have to make so much happen in this short amount of time. Jax is going to spy out Funnick. No Vendetta. Cool stuff. As this is going to force Funnick to... This is going to force wards, and that means that it's not going to be there for the tower. I mean... I don't even think Vendetta... Yeah, Vendetta was not even timing out. Like, this is just...
He's attacking, canceling the attack animation in the middle of it, and then stunning. This has got to be some Molten mechanic, because I don't understand why he would be doing it otherwise.
Yeah, I mean...
Let me ask one of my Han buddies real quick.
As Select is just going to farm out the bottom lane, 800 Golden Bank. If I were him, I'd probably go BKB over 4 staff in this game, just because there's just so much magical damage and the silence and the stun just to keep him in place. And Sing Sing doing the best he can, spamming the marches as the ultimate orb in place, as this is going to prevent Navi from pushing in. It's difficult to push in against QPAD, but once Alchemist picks up items like the AC, like the heart, it's only going to get more and more difficult, as Alchemist has climbed over 600 GPM despite dying twice, and it's only going to go up and up as he's actually going to go in, sieging this tower, forcing out multiple teleports. It's going to force out the entire QPAD lineup to react. Here comes the Ice Shards as Jack's gonna get stunned into oblivion. Here comes Select, gonna cancel the RP, only seeing that he could catch one, but he's gonna get stunned, he's gonna get mana flared, and he is gonna get blown up as well. And Funnick gonna summon some trees. Such a costly defense for QPAD. They lost 2 heroes, and they lost a lot of teleport gold in the process.
Yeah, this is bad. And Sing Sing is working towards the Hex, which is going to be a huge pickup, but it's not going to happen for like 5 minutes, so...
Yep.
They need to hold on to their towers somehow, and I guess March spam is the way to do it, but Furion can just go to bot lane and push. Like, it's no big deal. Navi's not on the clock. QPAD is, so...
Yep, and actually, Navi's just gonna man up on this tower. Glyph is already forced. Here comes a snowball, as I think he popped the face to give him some extra move speed. Walrus Punch to secure the kill on Mini, as Kuroki might end up dying to the tower. No, he will be able to escape, and Sakshika, with the tower kill, finished the AC, and now... plus armor for your team, minus armor for the enemy team, and you have lots of physical damage to go around. You have the Alchemist, you have the Walrus Punch, and they have Nature's Prophet harder and harder. This is... I mean, QPAD are starting to get their items up, but Navi's items are just a bit more scary.
If Alc gets Basher, I don't know if they have an... Or by Basher, I mean Abyssal. I don't know if they have a true answer for it, because the hero doesn't really hit hard at all. But if you throw in an Abyssal plus 100 damage, it doesn't matter if he doesn't hit hard. People are going to be locked down for the entire of the thing, and now he does hit hard because there's a ton of damage and he's attacking at like the speed of light. So I don't know. He might not go for it. He might get a hard first, but either way, that would be like a game-sealing pickup if he did.
I mean, still, never betting against the team with the Magnus. I've come to realize that so often in these games. Whoever has the Magnus has the late game advantage, but with QPAD's lineup, maybe it's just a little bit behind despite the Magnus.
They haven't got DPS to break the racks though. Like even if QPAD, wins a team fight on the tier 3, Navi can buy back, and QPAD, I always say QPAD, it's QPAD, can't actually take the racks fast enough, and with RP down, it's like, whatever, what are you going to do? So, not that worried for Navi, to be honest.
Yep, Tuskar has actually finished a gem, so he might... That could be a costly drop if he manages to lose it, as Kuroki's been playing super aggressive in this game, so that is a possibility. It's actually going to see a rotation by QPAD. And Navi actually playing very loose, no wards on the map at all, just some sentries on the top lane. I think Navi are just like, I think they're trolling a little bit for some reason. I mean, they blew up QPAD in game 1, and now they're just like, alright, we have the better late game.
I don't want to say trolling, because trolling implies that they don't really care. I think...
I mean, if they have mass Daggons, then obviously... I mean, they're playing more relaxed. I think they're just experimenting with Skywrath and Tusk to see if it's a good combo.
Well, it's so easy when you just stomp a team, and it doesn't even have to be in Dota. If you just stomp a team, and then it's easy, but the fight's going to start, so...
Yep, Mini gonna get sieged by the Ice Shards. Ice Shard damage actually did not tick in, as Jack's gonna be reeled by the Gem. Puppy gonna be assaulted by Waga. Here comes the RP. I don't know if it caught anybody. Oh, you actually canceled it. Nice RP, as Savost will get, or Sakshika gonna get stunned in place. The gem has been dropped. Jack's gonna pick it up as Sakshika is chemical rage times out the worst possible instant. The armlet is still in effect as, he toggles the armlet off, and the shockwave is more than enough to clean up. So Navi gonna pay for their looseness, and QPAD back in the game again.
Yeah, putting a gem on this Tuskar, I don't think that's a wise move. I would rather have it on the Skywrath mage. So one, he knows when the Nyx is coming to Vendetta and kill him, or and he's also just in the back of fight, so he doesn't really need to be scared. But yeah, like I was saying, when you're just stomp a team or just destroy somebody in any competition, and then you take them on for round 2, you're not taking it seriously. You're like, oh, this is easy. Your mind's on what you're having for dinner later that night, or what your girlfriend's bitching about. But the team that lost is going to go super hard because they don't want to lose again. And so I think QPAD's really giving this their all, and Navi's not intentionally not playing to their best, but I think that they can play better, and I think it's just the stomp syndrome, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, but still, the onus is like we have been mentioning so often, this gas onus is on QPAD to make something happen. They have killed all the tier 1 towers at the very least. Dendi might... Ooh, Jack's going to cancel his stun, recognizing that Dendi was just a bit too far away and has a lot of HP, so Dendi will be able to escape that gank for now, as Kuroki might very well be assaulted in his stead. Here comes Jerax. Vendetta, let's go Vendetta, as the ward's going to be dropped again. Vendetta, yeah, that wasn't so hard, was it? As here comes the wards. Man, I don't blame players, but I guess this game, I'm just letting loose.
I'm a terrible influence.
It's not you, dude. Like, the last time we cast it was like a month ago. It's just, well, anyway, 2 for 1. Support Tusk are going to get killed in exchange for a Shadow Shaman and a Nyx, as Navi going to go in for the Roshan kill. Just checking out Tinker really quickly. You guys finished the Scythe. Scythe Tinker against this lineup. How much influence will have?
It's no big deal, really. BKB is going to be out on Dendi. It is out. He's finished it. So he's not going to be able to really lock down Dendi for that long. Alchemist doesn't care. Alchemist can just turn on his BKB and run at you. And, like, what are you going to do? Hex the Tuskar? Like, I don't know. I don't see it. And something really important for a Blink Hex Tinker, there needs to be someone in the middle of a fight drawing attention so that you can blink around and hex stuff. If you have CK, a Farm Gyro, anything, just somebody who's making people focus him. I think in League of Legends it's called a bruiser. My friend called it that the other day and I made fun of him. But anyway, QPAD doesn't have that. Like, Tinker can't just hex and rearm and hex and rearm because no one is taking the focus off of him.
And Navi, no wards on the map. I think they lost the gem. They did lose the gem. Oh, yeah, QPAD lost the gem, but Navi still no wards on the map. As Select gonna go for the refresher. Do you think taking such a risk is good? I think
No.
Dendi with the Skywrath silence is just gonna be too powerful.
Yeah, there's no reason not to get BKB. It's just greedy. Like,
I mean,
even a
maybe you
player
have to
who's
be greedy in this game. Because, I mean, it's not going to get pretty as the game goes on. As here comes the initiation. Vendetta hook all onto Kuroki. Kuroki gets killed once again. Kuroki feeding mad hard as Sig Sig gonna blink in with the Hex. Skywrath does kill off Mini in the meantime. BKB has been popped. Waga gonna take so much damage from the Alchemist and the Skywrath. Skywrath actually being pushed away by the Cogs as Atos on to Select. He will be able to escape. It's gonna be a 1-for-1 exchange. 2 BKB charges were forced as Sakshka back onto the assault. Fishes a Reaver as Skywrath Mage does kill off Waga. Sakshka just tanking the tower like a boss at this point. Gonna get perma-hex down. Will he die? He most certainly will, as his Chemical Rage gonna time out relatively soon. They're gonna blow an RP just to make sure. Icing on top of the cake. And QPAD, I think, took that engagement. No, it was even 2-2, but they got the Alchemist at the very least.
Yeah, the 2-2 doesn't matter that much because they got the Alchemist. Like, the fact that Alchemist is down means that they're actually going to be able to push the tower, probably. Unless Furion is just being, you know, a piece of shit and side pushing the other towers, which he should be doing, but yeah. They might not even... No, you know what? They won't even get anything for that Alchemist pick off, and that's just upsetting.
And Funnick is actually pursuing Select, going to force him away from the neutrals, as Select just desperately trying to make his way towards a refresher. And surprisingly enough, I mean, that took the entire teamfight duration, the entire Chemical Rage duration, and QPAD were just able to kill off the Alchemist, and Alchemist has not even finished the heart just yet. So again, like we've come back to, the physical DPS, it's non-existent at this point. It's not going to get prettier unless Magnus somehow manages to get a Daedalus and other things.
Dendi just did probably the greediest thing I've ever seen someone do in an actual game. So you know how you put your items on the ground when you're bottling, right? To regen more mana?
Yeah.
Yeah, so normally you do that in mid lane with small items, you know, get a little bit extra out of it. Sometimes you'll drop a medium item. He put his Atos and his mana boots on the ground while he got chakra magicked. And he didn't even know if someone had gotten the 32-minute Invis rune and was standing on top of him. He could have just lost, like, what, 4.5k gold just by being that greedy.
And I'm just looking at the items. Yeah, no gem. They have a ward. Maybe they just saw the Nyx and they assumed
that they did that
there was nothing there. As Sing Sing forced to teleport in. This bomb tier 1 tower is still standing strong for QPAD as Kuroki with some dewarding ice shards. Gonna whiff everything, but gonna force positioning as Select, gonna get hexed up. Sing Sing is in the back line trying to hex, but Waga is in the front line. He's taking a lot of edge, force to pop with the mechanism. Nice RP by Select, gonna catch 3 heroes, but Sakshka just does not care. Dendi gonna finally pop the BKB. He might end up perishing. March Machine's putting in so much work. He's gonna use the Aegis as Kuroki's still gonna survive the assault. The only casualties have been Puppy and the Dendi. Aegis Jerax gonna fall as well, and that is gonna be a near team wipe. Sing Sing the only survivor, and now he's just saying, tell everybody else what you saw this day.
They focused Endia when he had Aegis. It's not a... I don't know. I think they should have gone on... Well, really, who do they focus? You can't go for Alchemist. You can't go for Dandy because he's got Aegis. Like, what are you going to do?
It's a sad situation when you have 1 or 2 layers of March and a 3-man RP, and you get 1 kill.
Hey, did they...
And you got 2-man cog with Waga. Waga's been playing
Yeah.
really well. And this is the problem with Clockwork in the late game. There's only so much you can do. You can just cog and just say, alright guys, help me out.
Yeah. Well, actually, you can put cogs that aren't on heroes to stop people from hitting other people, but that's about the most you can really do, I think. Question, did they fix Skywrath's hitbox? Was that even bugged? I think it was.
I'm not too sure. I haven't been paying attention. Was it bugged?
I don't know. I think someone said it was, but you can't click on the hero. Like, people miss impales, people... It's like, you remember Bounty Hunter in Dota 1 before it got changed?
Yeah.
It's like that. Like, it's physically hard to click on him. I don't know. Maybe it's a secret buff. It's a shadow buff or whatever they're called. But yeah, I think QPAD... I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do this without BKB on Magnus. He's just going to get silenced and not do anything.
I mean, they just have to rely on Waga to get good initiation and hopefully... I mean, again, you got 2-man hook, 2-man cogs, select, magic at 3-man RP. They have 1 or 2 layers of March, and they only got 1 kill. And Funk is going to try to do something to Sing Sing, get the Hex going, and Sing Sing going to be in a lot of trouble. Sing Sing not able to blink away, just going to Hex. He might be able to blink away right about now. Here comes a hook in by Waga. The Alchemist stun going to track Sing Sing down. Here comes the initiation by Kuroki as Waga going to get pursued away. Will he get his TP cancelled? No, he will not. And QPAD going to escape with 0 casualties, and they've got to count themselves lucky in that. As meanwhile, Select just trying to do whatever he can, farming the bottom lane. But Navi Deathball, they're going to push in. Alchemist is finally fished the heart. Another 3k gold in the bank, 700 GPN up on this Alchemist. And he's been fighting a lot recently, and that's the power of Alchemist.
Yeah, what... I've said it a gazillion times, but... What do you think QPAD would have to do to be able to actually kill an Alchemist when he's... Even if Chemical Rage isn't on, like, right now?
I think it's, like, literally almost impossible. With this lineup, you can't kill him. Like, this is just... It's too hard. You can't kill him with this lineup. You have to get double refresher.
There's no physical damage.
You have to get double RP. You have to get Vendetta. You have to get everything, like 2 layers of March. Even then, it's too hard.
I want to see a Dagon 5 on Tinker.
I think you have to do that. You have no damage. You need to get a Dagon. And BKB is slowly... It's at 6 seconds, so it's going to get decreased in effectiveness. QPADs can still win. They still have RP. Tinker's still very strong. I mean, it's going to be a huge long shot.
Navi, though. All the tier 2s are up, which means even if QPAD wipes Navi, they can't get a Rax off of it. They got to do it twice.
Meanwhile, Funnick gonna push, and I haven't talked about Funnick in a while. He has not been contributing as much, but he's been doing as a Nature Prophet should do for the most part, and he's starting to get his farm going. Fish the Hex. It looks like he's going for either BKB or Deso, probably BKB in this game, so he can fight more with his team. As Navi gonna smoke up, QPAD do not want to take this engagement. I think they recognize that Nature's Prophet is baiting, or maybe they saw Navi smoke up, and QPAD just do not want to take this engagement, as well as they shouldn't.
Yeah. At this point, Navi wasn't warding before, and you pointed that out. Look at the wards now. Navi just knows if ever QPAD's just in the jungle, Navi's gonna know where they are.
And with the Fear and with the Hex, you can do that with the Keep Alive Recall. You can just camp in the jungle, and then you'll have a full army there if you really need to have it. As well, Jax has picked up the Dagger. Refresher has been fished on the Magnus. Sing Sing has a Ghost Scepter. I think Evoid is going to be a solid option in this game. I mean, shutting down the attacks of Alchemist or Furion, or even the Tusk or Dendi when his BKB is down. Well, maybe not so much Dendi because he has spells. It's not like OD. But even then, that's not going to be useful. As Waga actually going to hook in. They're going to find out Funnick as he's going to pop the BKB, which is just fish. It's going to be a full 10-second BKB with the massive rewards placed by Mini, putting in a lot of work. Select is going to finish up the kill. Sing Sing actually managed to get the last hit on that. So Funnick once again being caught out in a poor place, and his BKB is down. And he has no buyback, so I mean, that might open up some room for QPAD, but it's still Nature's Prophet, and they've been killing Nature's Prophet quite a bit.
Yeah, it doesn't really even matter if he dies, you know? Because it's not like they're going to slow down his farm. It's not like they need to stop him from getting items. And he's not even really controlling the lanes just with a split push himself. He's just doing it through ult at this point, and he's going to die and then just ult again. So Navi's going to camp out Roshan. I think QPAD should try to contest it, because if it gets up on Dendi, I think it actually gets beyond reach.
And they were forced to use an RP, so they only have one RP if they pop the refresher. RP is going down quite rapidly, as Roshan has not yet spawned, so the RP will be back on. They will have double RP and March layers if they decide to take the Roshan. So this, if Navi gets all 5 in the Roshan pit, that's the best position possible for QPAD, since they have actually a lot of AoE lockdown, but they have to hope that Navi makes that mistake in going into the pit.
Do they have double RP? I never remember the mana costs for Magnus and when he does and doesn't have it. Let me do some quick arithmetic.
He does, just barely.
Just barely? Okay.
Yep, and actually Mini gonna blink in with Jerax. They're gonna find Kuroki. Kuroki is gonna get hexed down. Puppy actually gonna get killed as well. Meanwhile, Dendi gonna pick off Select, so no RP for the battles. Tuskar gonna buy back. Jerax is on the assault, but here comes Sakshka gonna pop the Chemical Rage, and the Acid Rage is doing so much work, but Alchemist can't do anything. He's being perma-hexed up, but no HP is dropped whatsoever. Tuskar with the buyback gonna go and try to assault Waga. Waga might just barely able to escape. Phonic actually gonna turn his attentions. Ghost Scepter popped on Sing Sing, and actually I thought QPAD were looking okay, but the buyback on Tuskar, I mean, I was just like, oh, QPAD, they look okay, and I look up, they lost 3 people.
Well, I mean, double RP doesn't do anything if you can't even get one off. You just got silenced by Dendi, and he died. So
I was like, oh man, Alchemist is not doing anything. Dendi couldn't get too much right clicks going. This is like best case scenario, and they had 3 people die, and they forced the Tuskar buyback.
Yeah. Abyssal's done on Alchemist. I honestly think that plus the Shadowblade nerfs or buffs is what made this hero like an actual hero instead of just, a bank machine or something. But he actually deals damage now, and the Lothars can make him like a super early presence and scary, and the Abyssal actually makes him like something to be scared late game, because normally he never could deal damage, now he can, so.
Meanwhile, gold grab, 15k deficit, 14k experience advantage. I mean, experience 4 minutes in the game, it still means a lot, but not as much. The gold graph is now a better indicator, and in this game, I mean, now you still have to take 2 more outer towers, and they have not broken the base just yet, but it's clear they're not in a rush. QPAD ages up on Dendi. They still have yet to use a double RP. We'll see if that influences the outcome. It probably won't do as much, but they might be able to get themselves back in the game. Still, I mean, I never want to count on Magnus, and Sing Sing has not been dying, which is very nice. He's fished the E-Blade. That's going to be useful. He has to go for Dagon. Like, I don't think there's any other option.
No, especially he's committed to E-Blade. You got to get that. Basically, if he goes just full Ferrari mode, I guess is what I would call it, and locks down both heroes each fight with the Hex on Dendi, and doesn't even let him BKB ever, and the Ethereal Blade on the Alchemist, I think they might have a chance. I don't know how else they do it, though.
Meanwhile, Sakshka just gonna siege the tower with the AC finished. Clockwork Rocket trying to delay the push. Mechanism pop by Puppy, as here comes the 3-man snowball going in for Mini. Mini's just like, oh, peace out, guys. It's Select gonna get the RP onto 3 Tuskar, gonna get blown up. Then uses Aegis to Sakshka. So difficult to push it against a Tinker, and we're seeing why, as Select gonna get silenced up, not able to cast a second RP, or was he? I could not even see. He was able to get it. They managed to kill off the Alchemist. Then he's gonna respawn with the Aegis. He's actually gonna get brought down. And man, I mean, we were talking about it's difficult to break into the Navi base. I guess it's almost as difficult breaking into the QPAD base against Tinkers and Rastas and Magnuses. Oh my.
That's, after you snowball in on Tusker like that, into Select, who hits you with the RP like that, that's when you just all chat as Kirk. You just go, sometimes I make bad decisions. Like,
I mean,
what else are you going to do?
There was ever a YOLO moment, that was close to it. Aside from Fountain Diving.
That too.
Just like, YOLO, Magnus, we're coming for you, bro.
Yeah, and I mean, when Tuskar used to be really, really absurdly good, just when he was only an AP, I think what I did to beat him in pubs was I picked Witch Doctor for a similar reason.
Or people pick
Lich.
On
someone.
Lich for Chain Frost.
Stuff like that. Because that is one of the really good answers to that hero. It's they go on you, and then you just have a defensive AoE thing like a Echo Slam, Black Hole, RP, stuff like that. And it's like the reason Darkseer is so good, or one of them, is because Surge groups the enemy team up. When you're playing Tuskar, you group your team up. So there's something to be said for that.
I mean, that's sort of why, like, I thought, you know, remember when, oh, Funnick gonna get hooked. I think he might very well die. Waga does have a dust, and Funnick forced to pop the BKB. Not too sure why he's just not teleporting out of there, as he is gonna do that right now. He is gonna escape, so BKB for a hook, more than worth it. But yeah, that was why I found Dignitas's Spectre Warlock map to be so interesting, because you have to split up against Warlock, and Spectre's just like, nope, can't do that, guys. It's always interesting, the dynamics of clumping versus not clumping.
Yeah, and it really is different every game, just based on like, I don't really know what to call this, but it's like the influence range of a hero. Some heroes can affect things. Oh, there's gonna be a fight. I'll shut up.
Yep, Funnick gonna actually siege in the background. Select gonna blink forward. They are able to pick up Puppy, so no more mechanism. As meanwhile, Kuroki gonna get hexed up. Meanwhile, Funnick is gonna do it with Waga. Waga is gonna die in that exchange. Just gonna follow the action as RP gonna be used just on Sakshka. He is gonna tank that up, no problem. As now we're gonna see the lack of damage starting to become a huge factor. Tinker finally dies. He had an unstoppable streak. He's gonna be forced to buy back. That is gonna delay his further recipes of Dagon. As Skywrath Mage is pumping out so much DPS. Man, I mean, it's just like, what's the point of OD when you have Skywrath?
I think OD offers obviously offers gank setups and stuff with the banish, but the big AoE teamfight ult, like I think it's just like an AoE version of Skywrath with a little bit worse ganking and better carry potential. Is how I would say it. Look at Dandy's item. I think he's doing what I think he's doing.
Is he gonna fight E-Blade with E-Blade?
I hope so. Oh
I
god,
mean,
I got slammed so hard by Skywrath in a pub who did that. It was like the least fun Dota game of the past week.
I mean, E-Blade is the best item in the game, so... I mean, this isn't even a surprise, as Sakshka is gonna pop the BKB. Sing Sing is gonna die, no buyback, he already used it. And without Sing Sing, I think this game is over. As, man, the hook's in. Oh, they are able to kill off Skywrath Mage, and Skywrath Mage, no buyback, or... Yeah, no buyback. RP is gonna be used. They kill off Fury, and Alchemist is just like, alright, whatever. I'm still here. What are you gonna do about me? He's gonna get stunned down. He might actually die. The Ice Shard's pushing everybody away. Puppy is finally back into the fight. Walrus Punch, Polar Punch, right in the face. And Select gonna get chased down. 4 people are dead inside QPAD. Only Dendy.
Poor Dendy. It's a sacrificial lamb.
I mean,
And I
Dendy,
am a little bit upset that we're not going to get to see that E-Blade pickup from him.
Dendy, why you feed? Why are you 17-5-11? God, such a scrub.
I didn't even look at the kill score of this game. 17. Oh, Jesus. That's a lot of kills.
It's a sad day when your support Shaoshan has the highest kill score on your team. Well, I mean, Tinker. Sing Sing played well, Mini played well. I mean, to be fair, I thought, Jarek's always made mistakes. Select got dying in lane, but I mean, I honestly couldn't really see too much of a way that Select could get himself out of the game.
Yeah, I mean,
it was just a
I'm
trap.
not going to say QPAD didn't play well, but I don't think that from the draft perspective, they had a whole lot of room to work with.
So this raises the question. This lineup at Navi is obviously really cool. They have so much range. They have Skywrath and Tuskar, as Alchemist might very well die in the war trap, but maybe not. I mean, he might just eat this up for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. He's not even chemical rage just yet. Oh, it's not gonna matter. He is gonna finally die. Oh, Alchemist gonna buy back. But I want to ask you this question. This lineup at Navi, would it work against a different draft? Like, just the range, the potential, the burst damage? Like Skywrath Mage Tuskar and Furion and Keeper.
I think if they don't do that super, super greedy Tinker jungling and just have a regular old safe lane carry, and you just have your supports roam on the Skywrath mid, he's just going to have a terrible, terrible time and then just be food for the rest of the game. And then if he's taken out of the picture, I think this game looks a lot different. But because of QPAD's greediness and trying to get Nyx Assassin to fast level 6, like, that's not going to work against Navi. They're going to have sentries up mid. They're going to have sentries up in the other lane. Like, I don't know. I think Navi's just too good to get taken down by a Nyx gank. So I feel like that lane was wasted, and because of that, Skywrath was just got to do whatever he wanted.
And Alchemist, no buyback, but, I mean, QPAD still has to take out the tier 2, the tier 3, as Epic Games the call by Dendy. It's going to be a comeback moment, as QPAD just mauling to themselves. What we should do now is the Rain Courier die, so more gold to the coffers of Navi, as can they even kill the tier 2? It's at full HP. I think they might just be able to, as Denny gonna plan his secret assault from behind onto the side of QPAD, playing forward by Mini. Puppy has his own BKB, keep alive BKB. Oh
First time
man,
I've
Mini.
seen that ever.
I mean,
Puppy's breaking the meta. See, I can't even say that ironically because Puppy actually does break the meta game. But yeah, BKB on keeper is something new.
and Sing Sing just left to mull over the mistakes as this is most assuredly GG. Mega creeps. Waga just like, no.
There's 2 gems side to side. That's kind of cute.
Yeah, you gotta look pretty in your win.
Something a friend of mine, and by a friend of mine, I mean definitely not me, does to BM in pubs is you buy gems all game, and then at the end of like a 50-minute game, you drop like 5 gems in their well.
You'd never do that. You're too nice.
I know. That's why I said it was a friend, not me.
I know. I was just clarifying. If anybody ever thought something differently, they'd be sorely mistaken. You are a scholar and a gentleman.
Of course.
So anyway, that's going to be it. QPAD's going to be sent to the losers bracket. This is a double elimination tournament, so QPAD looking to make their way through the losers bracket. Navi going to move on to the winners bracket. They have not been looking as strong in the online portion, but still, their roster is still looking quite sharp. Interesting draft, interesting game. Any last words?
Nice play from Dandy. I was impressed.
So thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time. Peace.